profession is filled with amazing, humble people that want to change the world. So how do we attract more of those people into this profession?
Before we get to the question of retention, because it's very, very important, one of the things that we can do and do better and do more of, and do more frequently, is work with young people. And, we have the opportunity to have a contact. Every officer has the opportunity to have a contact with a young person and do so in a real, meaningful way, one-to-one. Many police officers are SROs, work duty at the football game or the baseball game, board security. But we also have the opportunity to put together, you have police athletic leagues, you have explorer programs, cadet programs. These things not only expose these young people to what law enforcement officers are really like. They're not these terribly mean, awful people, that they're giving, caring, providers. And they get the exposure to that piece, but they also get actual hands-on law enforcement training.
This disturbing video showing a student body slammed from inside the main office of a Louisiana middle school has 2 officers facing serious charges. Moments earlier, the 14-year-old student behind the counter, the officer a few feet away. He is manhandled, grabbed around the neck, and slammed to the ground. This was just the beginning. The 2 grappling on the floor. At one point, the officer appears to make a punching motion at the student. His holster gun, picked up here by a school employee after coming loose, she moves it to a desk out of reach. Officer Anthony Dupree then picks the teen up in an apparent headlock and pounds him to the ground again before jumping on him. Watch as that employee again moves the gun out of the way. Another officer, Dan Cipriano, walks in. They handcuff the teen, stand him up straight, and then slam him face first on the counter before escorting him out. Tonight, the officers indicted on battery and malfeasance charges from the October incident.
Words that has him speaking out. 2 Round Rock school resource officers were called by an administrator to help break up the fight. In this cell phone video shot by another student, you see the officers trying to calm Hughes down. But when the 14-year-old puts his hand on one of the officers, the cop grabs him by the throat and takes him to the floor.
I was mad because he kept pushing me and touching me, and I wasn't physically doing anything to him either. And that's the point where I was like, can you leave me alone? And that's when he took me down.
In a statement from Round Rock Police, a spokesperson said after repeated attempts to calm the non-compliant student and stop him from going after the other student, officers were forced to detain him for his safety and the safety of others, adding, this incident is currently under review by the police department staff.
Jones has been placed on administrative leave. The mother of the young girl who was body slammed told our local CBS affiliate that her daughter suffered a concussion. The school's principal sent a letter to parents saying she was deeply concerned by what she saw. It's unclear what prompted Officer De Los Santos to slam this teenage girl to the ground. He was responding to this fight between 2 other girls caught on a second video. Moments later, the teen is taken down by the officer. A school official says she was not involved in the initial fight, and a witness claims the girl was actually trying to break up the brawl, which involved her sister. Parents learning about the incident expressed concern.
Being a parent of 2 kids, I have a senior and a freshman here, a boy and a girl. I don't think an adult ever really should body slam a child, especially a female.
I'd like to know what happened prior to escalating, getting to that point. So if there's more to the video, I'd like to see it. I think as parents, we have a right to see it and know what's going on.
And throwing him to the ground. Authorities say the officer was trying to detain the teen while breaking up an altercation at the game.
The officer was hurt. It was a very scary situation for him.
The officer seems to be disoriented while trying to get back on his feet.
Monday, everybody was talking about the fight.
One of the football players says the incident stole the spotlight from the competition, and his team, Banning High School, lost the home game that night.
The child assaulted 2 school employees. But take a look at the lapel camera footage. This is what the officer claimed was the first assault, as the student walks past the assistant principal. And this is what the officer says was the second assault.
Can't push him out of the way.
The girl tries to move past the principal to open the door. Then, Officer Christensen loses his patience.
I've had enough of this. Take your bag off. You're done. You're done. You're not gonna assault the principal.
The officer's lapel camera is knocked to the ground, but the school employee repositions it, capturing what happens next.
Put your hands behind your back.
Stop resisting!
Please stop.
Stop resisting!
Just stop.
Stop resisting! Put your arms behind your neck! Let me get off!
The school administrator continues telling the officer to allow the girl to get up.
Officer Christensen, she is not a threat to yourself or others at this moment.
She is. In the report, the officer writes, quote, "She was very strong, stronger than I was." Again, a school employee tells the officer this has gone too far.
Sir, we're not going to use excessive force to get done.
We're not excessive!
She's an 11-year-old girl, and it's a shock to the system to see that this is a thing that can occur at a school by a certified peace officer.
Tensions flared, witnesses say, after a fight broke out between white adults who had become agitated by the behavior of some of the black teenagers. It's unclear which kids were invited and which crashed the end of the school year party. It was then Casebolt and the other officers responded to the scene.
Get on the ground! Hold up, sir! I told you to stay!
Yet as police work to disperse the curious crowd, Casebolt can be seen racing to the scene. So quickly, in fact, he trips and flips, only to continue his charge.
What did you do when I walked away? I'm sorry.
The officers seen and heard cursing at partygoers, he says, were trying to run from police.
Don't make me around here with 30 pounds of goddamn gear on the sun because you want to screw around out here?
And then Casebolt refocuses his attention back to Jajeria Becton.
He told me to keep walking, and I kept walking, and then I'm guessing he thought we were saying rude stuff to him, and he shoved me in the grass. He started pulling back with my braids.
I just don't see in that scenario where the police were in harm's way or that the kids were harming anybody else.
Behind the camera, 15-year-old Brandon Brooks capturing 7 minutes of chaos on his phone.
He's just putting random black kids on the ground. I was like one of the few Caucasian people at the party. I think it might have had something to do with racism.
But when the gun came out, Brooks worried things were about to get worse.
At that point, my heart did drop, and I was scared that someone was going to get shot and possibly killed. So I knew I had to keep on filming, because I got really scared when he pulled out his gun.
There's absolutely no reason to ever pull a gun unless deadly force is about to be used on you.
My colleague Steve Osunsami News has learned that in 2007, Casebolt was accused in a federal lawsuit of racial profiling and excessive force during a drug search. Albert Brown Jr., who's African American, says Casebolt and other officers slammed his head against the hood of his car. Police did find drugs. The lawsuit was dismissed. Friday's video set off a firestorm on social media with tweets like this. A police officer who feels threatened by a teenager in a bathing suit might need to reevaluate their career choice.
Taking it out of hand, he was real aggressive.
And the McKinney police chief seems to agree.
I had 12 officers on the scene, 11 of them did exactly what we would want them to do.
That happened. I agree with you. I think our need to connect with our communities and need to connect with young people has never been greater than it is today. And I think that's a challenge for us because we rely heavily as a society on social media and this new culture. And with, I think, all the pressure and stress the law enforcement profession is under, we've certainly seen a withdrawal by some officers, a step back of those community contexts. Kind of the theory, if I don't do anything, I can't get in trouble for it. And that's a problem for us, right? Is that's not what we want to do. It's probably not what most officers wanted to do the day they got hired. But that's the circumstance we find ourselves in. So as leaders in this profession, what do we do about it? How do we start to make some progress?
Finally, the other piece of this very difficult puzzle is that we are not addressing the needs of officers, and I'm talking about the mental, emotional, physical well-being of officers in order that they feel cared for, that they feel part of the family again. We've lost a lot of that kind of feeling because agencies are much more prone to throw an officer under the bus for political expediency in the event of a high-profile event.
Because you're an actor, and your mom doesn't exist.
Where did you put them all? How? Where now?
Now, look at how serious this thing gets.
Gone. I saw all the buses.
This is so fake. Oh, people at home are gonna watch this. The sheep, and they're just gonna eat it up.
My mom, none of no us escaped, and I didn't find her. I want to just find my mom. Somebody needs to tell me where she is. I want to know if she's dead or alive, or if she's still in Walmart. Yes. We need to find her. This is the only way we're gonna do it.
Like, oh, I'm laughing because I think it's hilarious because I think it's all fake. Now, imagine like people who think this is real, and if they see me laughing at this. Some people think this is super real, super duper real. What does this shirt say?
Tell me where she is. I want to know if she's dead or alive, or if she's still
There's no tears.
in Walmart.
Yeah, she's still in Walmart. She forgot to get milk and eggs. Like, you know, maybe it's real. Again, I figure there would be a lot more tears. They wouldn't really be this comfortable in front of the cameras. It's crazy.
The headline is, man accused of shooting 6 police officers was a federal informant. Alright, now listen to this. A federal prosecutor in Pennsylvania blamed DA Larry Krasner for a bloody standoff, but the suspect has a long relationship with the government that includes a sentence reduction because of his cooperation. Alright? Now, listen to this. Factors warranting a downward departure. As the government sets forth its motion for a downward departure, the defendant has provided substantial assistance to the government. He has testified before the grand jury on 2 occasions, was willing to testify at trial, and provided information about a shooter that led to an arrest. He has cooperated, likely continue to imperil his safety and that of his family. You see this? Do you see this? Now when I tell you that these events are staged, they're fake, that's what I mean. That's what's going on in this matrix that we live in. This whole shooting was staged, set up, fake. The cops, the 2 cops were running back to the cop car, and when they got there, he got the fake blood sprayed on his arm. Why? He had no injuries. They needed to make it look like that. Now when I did that video, you had people saying, you're stupid, it's iodine. You know, iodine, man, y'all gotta wake up. He was spraying fake blood. You see this? This is a paid actor, a federal informant. He's been working with the government for years. He's been a federal informant for years, being paid to snitch on people, being paid to get people locked up. Now this, he was paid as an actor to stage this shooting. Come on, man. The proof is right here in the pudding. I'm going to link the article down in the description. I'm not going to read the whole article. I'm going to link it down there so y'all can go look at it. He's been working with the government for years. For years. For years. It's just like I mentioned with the Nipsey Hussle case. The video I did on that. The killer was a federal informant. Been working with the government. Come on, man. All of this stuff is set up. It's set up. What you gotta say? What y'all gonna say about this one? What y'all gonna say? Y'all been seeing the ads floating around. You got them. They be posting jobs looking for paid crisis actors. I'll continue to read this. Deputy Angel Reynosa claimed he was shot while in the parking lot of the sheriff's station. He later said he used a knife to cut holes in his shirt. A Los Angeles County Sheriff's deputy falsely claimed last week he was shot by a sniper at the Lancaster Sheriff's Station. He'll now be the subject of a criminal investigation, officials said late Saturday. Now, the sheriff put out a statement. We know the what and how, the sheriff added. We don't know the why. Now, the dramatic twist in the case came after days of fruitless searches for a gunman who authorities believe has shot the deputy. The incident prompted the manhunt and massive police response, with much of the focus on an apartment building next to the station. Reynosa, 21, claimed he was struck in the chest about 2:50 p.m. Wednesday as he walked to his car in the employee parking lot at the Lancaster station, authorities said. At the time, investigators believe Reynosa's bulletproof vest had had saved his life, but that a bullet grazed his shoulder.
Today, detectives saw no visible injury to Reynosa's shoulder. During the subsequent interview, Angel Reynosa admitted that he was not shot at from the apartment complex area, as he previously claimed. He also told investigators that he had caused the holes in his uniform shirt by cutting it with a knife. There was no sniper, no shots fired, and no gunshot injury sustained to his shoulder. Completely fabricated.
And unfortunately in this case, he did not act to that standard. But I'd like to reiterate to the citizens of Lancaster, your community is safe. There's no one on the loose in that community. I apologize for the inconvenience that was imposed on you, but I'm very happy to say that your community is safe at this time. Absolutely, the sheriff would send a very strong message, but I have to also add that everyone is afforded due process, whether you're a private citizen or a deputy sheriff, and his due process will be served.
The reason that police think that there may have been as many as 3 people involved in the shooting is that several sources actually, witnesses told police that they saw 3 men. And apparently the suspects got into a black SUV and then exited the parking lot.
Where I was at right here, we seen there was 3 white men in military fatigues taking off.
What were they driving?
It was a black Impala, SUV, or yeah.
You think that they might have been the shooters?
Yeah. The way they were driving, yeah. Yeah.
And how many shots did you hear?
Oh, a lot. It was a lot. It sounded like, yeah, like I said, it sounded like a gun range, just shots going off like crazy. It was a lot of shots.
From what I understand, there was 3 shooters that went in. He said he didn't hear or see any of them, but the reports that I've been getting is that there were 3 shooters in there. Supposedly they've taken off, left in some kind of a hit.
Ms. Abdel-McGee, can you describe to me in as much detail as you can, what did the gunman look like?
I couldn't see his face. He had a black hat on, and from my view, all I could see was just a black hat and black long-sleeve shirt, possibly gloves on. He has black cargo pants on, the kinds with the zippers on the sides and the big puffy pockets. He had a huge assault rifle, and he had extra ammo. He's coming ready for something, to reload. I don't know. He had his magazines. I couldn't see what else I saw. I just saw 3 dressed exactly the same.
You're certain that you saw 3 men?
Yes. It looks like their skin color was white. They looked like they were athletic build, and they appeared to be tall.
People that ran from the conference room, what happened?
It was someone with an assault rifle, maybe a bulletproof vest, dressed in black. That's really all I know.
And 1 person is what they described.
That's all that we know of here, but I'm hearing other reports that maybe there was 2 or 3 shooters. I really don't know.
Right.
But the reason they believe that there are 3 individuals is because witnesses told police that they saw 3 men with what appears to be long rifles leaving that scene, and they're now looking for a black SUV right now, Brooke.
Angeles now, 12 people have reportedly been killed and 20 more injured after shots rang out this afternoon in San Bernardino, California. RT's Brigida Santos is standing by live in our LA studio. Brigida, what can you tell us at this point about how this situation is unfolding?
Okay, so I did just receive an update or 2. Right now, San Bernardino police have confirmed that indeed it was 3 shooters and that they have indeed left in a black SUV. Before it was a little bit unclear whether it was 1, 2, or 3 shooters. The police are saying that yes, it was 3 shooters.
dispararon unos hombres por pistolas disparando a todas las personas.
¿Eran varias personas? Más que una persona. Ok, por lo menos dos.
Como 3 o 4 personas.
Ajá. ¿Y cómo estaban vestidos?
Yo los vi de negro.
Okay, so you saw more than one person dressed in black shooting inside the Walmart.
¿Andaban ya uniformados como policías o...? No les vi la cara, solamente les vi pedazos para traían... Yo los vi todo de negro y traían traían pantalones anchos.
Ah, ok.
Y eran ellos los que iban disparando, porque yo nomás vi algo cuando ellos iban así, porque yo miraba a los que estaban.
So she saw 4 individuals running in there in shorts, all dressed in black, shooting back and forth.
And pop into our affiliate right there. I believe it's KTSM. They have a live reporter on the scene.
Here behind me, and just moments ago, the police did send out another alert telling us that this is still an active scene and that they have reports that it is a multiple shooter situation. Now, we can confirm that 18 people were shot inside of the Walmart. Now, the extent of their injuries are unknown, but we did speak to someone who was inside the JCPenney at the Cielo Vista Mall when everything was happening. They were evacuated. They say SWAT entered the mall. Now, they are still being held, and were told by police they would not be able to leave anytime soon. And here on the ground, you can see this is extremely active. Vehicles driving in and out, people being evacuated from the area here. Now, multiple streets are blocked off in this area. I would advise to stay away from the Cielo Vista Mall area so that you do not have to come near this area today. Stay as far as say that this is a multiple shooter active situation still, and that they are advising city and county residents to take shelter and especially stay clear of this area. We'll go ahead and keep you updated as
long rifles.
Everybody, this is Believe 3.0. Making a quick video. Oh, by the way, it's August 4, 2019. Quick video because someone is saying that I'm lying about there being multiple shooters at the El Paso, Texas Walmart yesterday. And I was watching the whole thing as it was going down in real time on Twitter and on YouTube, and someone had a police scanner that they were using to go live on YouTube. And there were 2 arrests made, according to the police, during the live stuff that I was watching. What happened to the second person they arrested, I have no idea. Regardless of that, you already know there are witnesses that saw 3 to 4 men dressed in black with guns. Okay, you don't want to believe that? Here, this is a CBS News retweet that the El Paso Police Department tweeted out. I'm going to show you. The El Paso Police Department tweeted out yesterday, "Scene still active. We have multiple reports of multiple shooters." Okay? Now, if you don't understand what that means, I can't help you. Thanks for watching.
Police say they have reports of multiple shooters at the scene near the Cielo Vista Mall in El Paso. They added that the scene is still active and urged people to avoid the area. Scene is still active. We have reports of multiple shooters. Please avoid area police conducting search of a very large area. Media staging will be given when area is secure, the department wrote.